Hello, I'm Kayleigh Thomas, Senior Marketing Manager here at Core, and joining me today for a quickfire interview on IIoT is Steve Braig, our Management Consultant at Inventors Global. Steve has 25 years of global CEO experience with manufacturing companies and the last 5 years advising IoT and data analytic companies to develop those solutions for industrial use cases. So Steve, it's great to speak to you today.
Well, thanks for having me, Kayleigh.
Okay, so let's dive straight into this hot topic. Now, I read a recent report that said IoT connections within smart manufacturing is going to grow at a rate of over 30% annually, increasing the number of devices to more than 600 million. So, the industrial IoT market is growing quickly. At a starting point, can you sort of talk to us about what industrial IoT actually is? And I'm also interested in your thoughts on the drivers to this growth.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Kayleigh. So the industrial Internet of Things refers to interconnected sensors, instruments, and other devices that are networked together. In manufacturing, that means data for critical assets is being collected and transferred via an IIoT hub, typically to the cloud. In its basic version, the data is visualized to provide plant management with valuable operational insight or overall equipment effectiveness, or commonly referred to as OEE. In an advanced version, or in a more advanced version, machine learning algorithms, or AI, analyzes the data automatically and provides predictive and prescriptive insight. In a future state, or kind of the end state of all of this, the industry is talking about autonomous manufacturing, where the IIoT platform actually operates equipment consistently at the highest level of performance. So that's a quick snapshot on IIoT in the industrial space. The reasons for the tremendous growth that the application has experienced, and in my opinion will continue to experience, is that it is really a game changer in the industrial space. If you think about, if you operate a manufacturing operation in the absence of data, you're flying blindly. You rely on process technicians and engineers to intuitively set process parameters and operate the equipment. And that leads to substantial inefficiencies and also inconsistencies, because again, these adjustments, these decisions are mostly made intuitively or subjectively. So if you compare two manufacturing operations, one having an IIoT platform and the other not, it's almost an unfair advantage. And I think the data has shown that manufacturing operations or industrial operations that do collect and analyze the data operate at a significantly higher performance in a consistent manner. Additionally, especially in the development markets, there is a significant skills gap and also shortage on qualified workers. You can obviously see that a platform like this provides the insight so that somebody with relatively little experience can operate or can perform their tasks with the help of the data analytics, similar or even exceedingly to somebody with a lot of experience.
Yeah, so you sort of talk about this return on investment for those that are investing in this area, but adoption for IIoT still seemingly, though there's potential, it still seems a wee bit slow. So can you talk through why that sort of seems to be, considering these great benefits that companies, industrial manufacturing operations can garner from this?
Yeah, what I see, Kayleigh, is that most large global enterprises have with the help of some of the large consulting firms, actually have adopted industrial IoT platforms and enjoying the benefits of it. You're correct in saying that most small and medium-sized enterprises actually lag significantly behind it. And I see a couple reasons, for that. One is the industrial space, manufacturing in particular, is typically very risk adverse. It's a mature and a very risk adverse industry, and I see some companies still on the sidelines and kind of waiting to see where this all goes. There is a lot of hype around the technology. There is a lot of misunderstanding. And I see, again, a lot of small and mid-sized enterprises still educating themselves about really the benefits of the technology. But a larger barrier for implementations is a new technology that is not that simple to implement and requires, to some extent, requires competencies that many small to mid-size enterprises lack. So you have IT typically involved, you have operations management, you have maintenance repair operations. So it's really a team effort in implementing a platform like this. And probably the largest challenge is on how do you get started? How do you get your equipment, your legacy equipment, some of it probably having very old control platforms on that equipment. How do you get it connected, and how do you make it talk to an IIoT platform? And I think here is an area that especially Core provides incredible value to industrial users, in the sense that Core provides a end-to-end solution, makes the data collection very easy, provides a hardware solution, the necessary firmware for the hardware, for the gateway to actually connect to the equipment and to collect the relevant data. Unlike many other IIoT providers who have powerful software, but the user is left to their own in connecting the equipment, in developing the required interface and communication protocols. So that, in my mind, is the main reason why there is hesitation, or why the adoption rate, particularly in smaller and mid-sized enterprises, hasn't progressed quite at the level where some of the larger companies are today.
Yeah, and thank you very much for that core part there. I'll slip you a fiver later. One of those sort of great benefits that's often spoken about is the move from a traditional SCADA configuration to the IIoT solution. You talk about the analytics, the connection to the cloud, and are there any other, well, I mean, we could have a whole interview just on that element, but are there any other sort of particular IIoT applications or use cases that you could see for a more short-term ROI? A lot of the benefits that I see are within 5 years, within 7 years, but a lot of manufacturing organizations are looking to build that business case, and they need something a bit more short-term to say, this is what we can achieve now.
Yeah, Kayleigh, that's a very good point, because of course, plant or management, of any company looking to make an investment into a platform like this is asking for the returns on that investment. And frankly, a platform needs to be able to show those returns. Otherwise, why do it? So there are many benefits that show a return on that investment in the form of increased and improved efficiencies, higher uptime, and availability of equipment, less downtime. Most platforms analyze unplanned and scheduled downtime and give you Pareto charts in what are the reasons for the unplanned downtime. So ultimately, plant management can improve the availability of the equipment. All of these advantages are typically, especially for IIoT solution providers, sometimes difficult and challenging to convert into a hard ROI, mostly because the user doesn't necessarily share these efficiencies, with the solution provider. Where the ROI, in my experience and with implementations that I have supported, where the ROI is black and white is in yields and in material consumption. If you look, for example, at a, let's say, $100 million in annual revenue plant that manufactures, being it metal or plastic parts or food and beverage, a typical scrap rate or a material waste in that industry would be somewhere around 2.5% of revenues. So 2.5 costing $2.5 million on an annual basis. It is a reasonable expectation, and I have seen repeatedly with the implementation of a platform, particularly if you also apply machine learning algorithms and provide predictive and prescriptive insight, that in a case like this, you can easily reduce your material waste and scrap rate to less than 0.5 percentage point.
Wow.
of annual revenue. So in an example like that, that's a $2 million savings annually. That goes right to the bottom line. And again, that is typically in the ranges of what I have seen with implementations.
Wow, and that's real ROI.
Correct.
Right, well, we've come to the end of our quickfire interview. I just want to say this has been really insightful, and I hope the viewers have found this very interesting as they might be going on their own digital transformation journey. I think it's clear to see that, especially from what you've been speaking about, that IoT technologies can really deliver that significant promise that industrial organizations look for, the monitoring of equipment, the predictive maintenance, leveraging IoT data analytics to really derive that valuable business intelligence that you've just spoken about. $2 million is just, it can't be sniffed at, right? So the growing adoption of IoT solutions is ultimately going to contribute to that digitization of legacy processes and equipment that you've just spoken about. So I just want to thank you very much for joining us on today's quickfire interview.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Kayleigh.
Great. So for more information, go to corewireless.com.
Thank you.